Everyone knows Bryce Young is the Heisman Trophy winner from last year. Everybody knows he looked good this past Saturday. But what did everybody think about Jalen Milroe? That could be something to keep an eye on.
Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy, how are you today?
Good. Just driving and podcasting.
Driving and podcasting. That sounds like...
I know not to drive and text. I know not to drink and drive, and I know not to drink and not to drive and text, but no one has said anything about driving and podcasting, so here I am in heavy traffic.
Or drinking and podcasting. Either way. Jimmy, let's talk about Jalen Milroe.
Oh, I do that.
What's that?
I said, I do that.
Let's talk about Jalen Milroe here for a second.
Sure.
As many people know, he was committed to Texas at one time. Alabama was able to flip him. Really hoping we get to see him this weekend against the Longhorns. That would be pretty cool. He's from Texas. He is a beautiful specimen of a human being. I mean, he's just he really is. He's gorgeous. And I liked some things I saw out of him on Saturday against Utah State. The people are going to just harp on the interception. It was underthrown. It was also a good play by the defensive back. But overall, I was pretty excited about where we stand with our backup quarterback situation. What say you?
I say that it's a fantastic litmus test for what kind of a fan you are in your own personality, speaking to all of you, because I think everyone's going to look at it differently, which is fine. But there was enough great, and by great, I mean great, there was enough great from Milroe to be really excited about him if you choose to be, if that's your attitude. He was 8 of 10. And I know some cynical say, yeah, but those 8 completions were easy. If it was so easy, how come everybody isn't 8 out of 10? Everyone would be 8 out of 10 if this was an easy thing to do. If it was easy to complete 80% of throws, then people would just do that all the time. So there's no way that you can look at 8 out of 10 and blow it off as a nothing burger. That's ridiculous. Now, that said, the 2 incompletions were pretty bad, to be honest. If we're being honest, and we're being honest on both sides of the coin, right? The interception was terribly underthrown, and what was worse is I think Leary had the DB beat deep, and Milroe threw it late and underthrown, which is crazy considering how big his arm is. He can throw it from Tuscaloosa to Northport. So that was bad, and the other incompletion was also a very poorly thrown ball. It could have been intercepted in the sense that it was so off target. It could have ended up anywhere. So you have 8 out of 10, great. 2 throws that were like, yeesh, pretty bad there, Jalen. Now we also know he's a great kid with great leadership ability, awesome intangibles. He's smart. The kids like him. He's an incredible athlete. You have to throw all that into the mix too. So I can just say for myself, personally, I'm really excited about Milroe and his future at quarterback based on what I saw Saturday. But I'll also do it with some level of trepidation because he is a work in progress as it relates to the pass game. And we saw that Saturday, that there's still a lot to love. There's a lot to iron out. I'm optimistic. Of course I am.
In Utah State.
Wait, what in the heck just happened?
Are we about to play? We're about to play Utah State again, right here now.
What's funny is I went to the ESPN site to pull up some stats, and then as you went ahead and mentioned that he was 8 of 10, and I guess it just automatically goes to highlights.
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
And that is so irritating.
The pop-up stuff with high volume is like, what the heck, man? We didn't sign up for that. But no, I'm excited about Milroe. I get it if people say, but I'm just telling all fans, you can't dismiss 8 of 10. And if you're a pie-eyed optimist, if you're nothing but, you want to see nothing but the good, you're not doing yourself any favors either. And he also showed why he's not a slam dunk to be a great quarterback either, because he's got to iron that stuff out. Those are game lose plays. So excited, still some trepidation, but also realizing he's really a redshirt freshman, and he hasn't played a lot yet, and he's still a very young player. So the honest answer is jury's still out.
Yeah, and look, I'll tell you, I'm glad you brought up Leary, because it feels like he and Leary may have a bit of a connection. I know he seemed to throw it to Leary a few times. I also appreciated this. I also appreciated the fact that the first play that Jalen Milroe threw a pass, he threw it to Jermaine Burton. I like that it's not, give him a chance to throw it to our number one guy and get that feel going instead of just, acting like we're throwing him a bone or something. I thought that was a pretty smart move. I'm hoping it was by design.
They also put him in with the ones, Luke. I mean, when he first came in, he was with the first team. He had the first team offensive line, first team receivers. He had Gibbs, he had McClellan, he had Roy Dale. That was Milroe with the ones. What did he do? He led us right down the field and scored a touchdown. Threw a touchdown. Right down the field, scored a touchdown. From that point forward, they put in a ton of twos and even by the end threes. If you're really going to evaluate Milroe running the offense, that was your one drive to do it. And what happened? Touchdown. So every reason to be optimistic, but he's got some stuff to iron out. No doubt about it.
Let me go ahead and tell everybody about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your pro and college football betting needs and sports info this season. Find all the latest football league developments, game matchups, news, podcasts, including this year's opening week games. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including Major League Baseball, MMA, boxing, golf, whatever you want, they got it. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and actions. BetOnline is where the game starts. Jimmy, let's talk a little bit about the offensive line. I've seen a lot of consternation still about the offensive line. There's only one sack given up, and it was, I feel like it was a missed block. If I remember right, and I haven't gone back and checked out that specifically, but I want to say Robbie Oots may have been involved there somehow.
Correct. The player Robbie Oots was assigned to block, or he did block on that play, sacked Bryce. So you can say Oots gave up the sack. On the other hand, what I would say, not in defense of him, is just pretty obvious that, when you play teams, whether they have a 3-man front or a 4-man front, normally the tight end doesn't have – he had an offensive tackle's responsibility on that play, right? Now, I realize a tight end is a part tackle, part receiver, but he had a pure tackle's responsibility. It's not going to be often that your tight end is matched up with a down defensive lineman that you're trying to keep off the quarterback. So was it a good play by Oost? It was definitely not. Bryce got hit and we got sacked. That's bad. It's got to be improved. Also wasn't really indicative of, I don't think, him or the offensive line as a whole, because there were no other sacks given up. So not Randolph, not Cohen, certainly not Latham or Steen gave up a sack. I did see another play, Luke, where Bryce was hit, and he was hit really, really hard. It was Bryce's fault. That does happen in this sport. The quarterback is responsible for his protection. And what happened was Utah State did a nickel blitz, something Alabama does pretty often, by the way. We had the front accounted for. That was also a blitz. We did a good job of getting the front accounted for. Bryce never accounted for a nickel corner blitz. We had no one assigned over there. The kid just ran in unblocked. It wasn't anybody's fault. If Steen had kicked out to pick up the nickel corner, then someone from the inside would have gotten to Bryce. It was just, we just didn't have a proper protection on the play. That's on Bryce. He'd be the first to tell you, and he'd be the first to fix it. And I bet that's already something that's been addressed in Alabama's film study yesterday, today. So I think overall the offensive line wasn't great, but with some opinions I've read here and there, there's definitely overreaction. I mean, some silly overreaction, really. It wasn't that bad. I don't know what people expected. It was never going to be great. What the heck did we talk about all summer long? Hey, guys, the offensive line still looks like it could be a thing, and we don't think it's going to be terrible, but it's certainly not going to be great. And then the response after the game is, the offensive line wasn't great. What the hell?
Yeah, that's a good point. I do want to say that I saw a picture regarding one of our offensive linemen, J.C. Latham, and it took me aback. I'm going to put it up here for those on the YouTubes. Look, I don't know how to make that any bigger, but I don't know how to make him any bigger. He looks like a villain of the Incredible Hulk right there, like that happens to play football for Alabama. I mean, I know this picture doesn't do it justice. I don't know how to make it bigger. That is a monstrous human being. And the way he's standing right now, it looks like he just destroyed a building and the authorities are questioning him about it. And he's like, what do you want me to do? This is what monsters do. He is just an enormous human. And so, yeah, I think he looked pretty good, I thought, on Saturday. And
he did. Dalcourt played well, too, and was a staff player of the week. I mean, I thought at the game Dalcourt played well, and saw some people online going he didn't. I'm like, I just sort of missed that. I was like, I thought he played really well, and today named a staff player of the week.
We got a really tough crowd. Alabama does. I mean, it is this is showtime at the Apollo. It doesn't take much for the fans in Tuscaloosa to bring the clown out with the broom and sweep the comedian off the stage, right? I mean, we are a tough crowd. I mean, we're not one of those to find a lot of silver linings. When I look through some of the other message boards, and we're going to talk about the SEC in general in the next segment, I look through some of the other message boards, like the Auburn message board, for instance. They are, they're doing everything they can to find something positive from Saturday, and it's kind of wild. If we perform like that, we're like, well, let's just go ahead and shut down the season and start over and see if we can just go ahead and have, instead of games, let's play 11 more spring practices and see if we can get better. We're despondent. We cannot enjoy a 55-0 win. That's how bad things are, or good things are in Tuscaloosa right now.
That is so true. I mean, I've joked about this before, but it's so true. Hopefully I'll live to see, 93. I'll be 93 years old. Yeah, I'm sure I won't, but hopefully I will. And I'll come across some student in Alabama. I'll be on campus one day, and I'll see some student who said, "Good Lord, how old are you? You look 110." I'll go, "Oh, I'm only 93." And he'll go, "Wow, you look 110." And have you always been an Alabama fan, sir? And I'm like, always. And he's like, you weren't around during the Saban era, were you? I'm going to be like, oh, heck yeah, I was around during the Saban era, every second of it. What was that like? It was the greatest dynasty of all time in the history of sports. What was campus like? What was it like? And my answer to him is going to be, we bitched and moaned through the whole thing every day, thought the coaches were idiots, thought the players sucked, wanted everybody fired, wanted everybody cut, thought the whole thing was a freaking mess.
Yeah. You could say, hey, sir, what was the Saban dynasty like? It had to be awesome. Well, Jalen Milroe did throw an interception when we're up 48-0. I mean, you tell me if that's awesome. So,
55 points at 600 yards offense and didn't block a soul.
Anyway, all right. I want to tell everybody now about Alumni Hall. That is like my home. I just got home. And Alumni Hall, look, this T-shirt I got from Alumni Hall. They are the absolute best. Just great, friendly people. Look, I went to their websites. You can go to their website too. It's easy peasy. And all you got to do is Google Alumni Hall, Alabama, and it'll come up. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's wonderful. They've got all this cool stuff. You need to go check them out, Alumni Hall, or find an Alumni Hall near you. I'm telling you, these people are super nice. They have all these cool shirts you won't find anywhere else. Like this one, they sent me this one to promote. It's got Alabama's old logo, which we all love. I'm okay with the Atlanta Braves A with a mullet on it. I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with the big elephant head. I am cool with the elephant coming through the A and the distressed University of Alabama print. That is what we're talking about. That's what you need to go get. from Alumni Hall, Alabama. And again, all you have to do is go to alumnihall.com and you can search for Alabama, and they've got all kind of cool stuff, all kind of shirts, sweaters. I'm looking at right now, cornhole sets, hats with the old logos. They got everything. Go check out. If I get
married again, I'm getting registered there. If I get married again, I'm going to get registered at Alumni Hall. That's how cool it is. They got if you just dream up of something that could possibly have an Alabama logo on it, it's there at Alumni Hall. And I do a lot of shopping. That's frankly, it is my Alabama clothes shop of choice. And it was before they were advertising on our show. And I'm always fired up, Luke, whenever we add an advertiser whose product we seriously recommend because we've already used their product. Outstanding people and fun store.
If I get
a bar there, they should put in a bar. If they put in a bar there, I'd never leave.
Alumni Hall and Bar. I dig it. If I get married again, I'm going to get registered at Publix because I'm going to be completely broke and I'm going to need people to send me chicken and broccoli and stuff. I mean, anyway. So Jimmy, let's talk about the SEC overall here. Leave it to the Ragin' Cajuns of LSU to have the best worst game in the history of college football. Literally, you could not look away from that. It was a train wreck that happened because there was a car wreck. It was just unbelievable. So much stuff went on in the final 6 minutes that you could not believe it. That's the definition of unbelievable. You're in a state of disbelief.
Alabama fans that believe in their hearts that Alabama's offensive line sucks, I hereby sentence you to watch LSU football all season. You're sentenced to watching it. If you think Alabama's offensive line is terrible, then you watch LSU and report back, because that was bad, and I'm not sure it's going to get any better. And if Jaden Daniels didn't have excellent mobility, man, poor Miles Brennan, who I've kind of been a fan of, man, if he played behind that offensive line, that could have been horrible. It would have been CNN breaking news. They'd have just that. Yeah, Miles Brennan would not have survived that game. Jaden Daniels did survive it barely. Their offensive line's bad. My buddy, dollar to my buddy Marcus, who was just talking to me about this. Their back seven is not what it normally is. They normally have dudes all over the back seven. They don't now. When Orgeron left, all those guys left with him, really. And what guys they had left, they lost the whole team after 2019 and really never recruited the team back, never got the team back. And that's not a typical LSU team that Brian Kelly's coaching. Last night had nothing to do. Blaming Brian Kelly for last night is like blaming Nick Saban for 2007 Alabama. It's like, yo, you think Saban's great? Look what he did in 2007. He went 7-5. That's what you're doing if you're getting on Brian Kelly today.
Okay. I'm with you for most of that, except when you have Keyshawn Butte and you say, okay, I would get the game plan if you're like, we're going to use Keyshawn Butte as a decoy for a bit. But if you don't ever throw it to him, he's a decoy for the whole game. And he's the best player on the field. We all know he will be the highest drafted player that was in that game. And they didn't throw him the ball, or he didn't have a catch until midway through the fourth period. There's something wrong with that. That's fundamentally stupid.
And then today took everything off social media associated with LSU. Isn't that what NFL players do when they're throwing tantrums about their team? They take all their team colors off there.
Well, look, in this day and age, and I've already had a teammate in Jamar Chase take a year off and become NFL Rookie of the Year and look fantastic. If I'm Keyshawn Butte and I believe I'm as good as Jamar Chase, and I think he is, then I go, oh, wait a minute. Yes, as a competitor, you're always like, I want to play. But as a guy, business decision, you're like, they're not going to throw me the ball, which is going to hurt my stock. And it's going to make me look bad because obviously my attitude's kind of crappy. And so why don't I just take the rest of the year off and not be a disappointment this season. And on top of that, we don't have a very good offensive line. So the quarterback, even if he was throwing it to me, it's hard to throw it from his back. And we're not going to win that many games. It does make you kind of wonder if Keyshawn Butte is going to hang him up at LSU. I don't know. It also tells me if after one game he's willing to hang it up, the rumors of his transference to another school were not greatly exaggerated.
No, I don't think they were at all. As a matter of fact, I mean, what I'm about to say is going to be misconstrued, so I'm stupid for even saying it. I'm picking these words carefully. But this is my theory with Butte because it lines up with what we saw last night. I think he wishes he left. I think he wishes he could have left. And then that big NIL deal came. Now, people don't need to forget about that. You know, he got this. It's even on his Twitter page that he is the face of the law firm in Baton Rouge, the big personal injury law firm, paid him the NIL money. Nothing wrong with that. Totally legal. Totally legal. Not saying anything's against the rules or that anybody did anything wrong. I'm just saying now that the games are here, maybe it's been made clear to him that of why it might have been in his best interest to play somewhere else. I'm not talking specifically about Alabama, so don't get everybody. Yeah. But I just think Butte played like he wished he was somewhere else.
Really quickly, Jimmy, to wrap it up, outside Georgia, who looked absolutely phenomenal. Georgia reminded me of Alabama 2010 taking on Duke when they had to go to Duke. It seemed like they were mad about having to do it, and they just beat Duke into oblivion. And Duke's not a very good team, I understand that. But that was sort of like, hey, we're still around defending our championship thing. Georgia came out with that same attitude and beat a better team than Duke, although I'm not sure they're much better than Duke. Bo Nix was Bo Nix again. He was Bo Nixian. And he's just – I'm shocked I'm saying this because I saw him in high school several times and I thought he'd be a good quarterback. He's just not really good. At the college level, he's great as a high school, but he's not that great of a college quarterback. And Georgia would do that to a lot of quarterbacks, I understand. At the same time, he had some unforced errors that are hard to explain considering he's a senior that has been around the block a few times now.
Yeah, here's just some predictions. Oregon will look better as the season progresses. I don't think that's the Oregon we're going to see in the Pac-12 all year. I think Oregon will still be a serious contender to win the Pac-12. What it said to me is let's see if Clemson can join them. But Alabama and Georgia really felt to me like they separated themselves from everyone else this weekend, including Ohio State, who struggled to put away Notre Dame. And Georgia, to me, reminded me of a Saban team in terms of like, you lost all those and you got a quote game manager at quarterback and still look that good. That's very Sabanish. And I didn't predict it to happen, and I'm not predicting it now. But the idea that Alabama and Georgia could play twice again is looking real.
It's looking like it's just a foregone conclusion. I mean, honestly. And, boy, I know Florida looked pretty good, but they didn't look great. And, frankly, that game could have gone either way. I think that game is more of a testament to the strength of the SEC, that what people consider to be this very experienced number 7 team in the country, Utah, some people had them penciled into the college football playoff. They can't go and beat a pretty middle-of-the-pack Florida squad that may have trouble beating Kentucky at home next week. I mean, I think that's more a testament to our league's strength than it is anything else. All right, Jimmy, let's go to wrap it up. And when we have our next podcast, we're going to do a lot of Texas talk. Chris Felica has put some stats out there that are pretty unbelievable about Texas versus Alabama over the last several years. And we'll discuss that and really get into some Crimson Tide Longhorn discussion. Until then, roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.